YouTube, welcome back, YouTube. It's your boy Sports Dano, and I'm back with another video. And today we're covering the NBA draft. Yeah, we're talking b-ball now. You feel me? Moving on to the NBA draft, and specifically winners and losers of the 2026 NBA draft. Starting it off with my personal winners, I have the Bucks, Lakers, OKC, Hawks, Bulls, and then obviously the top three teams. Just start with the top three. I mean, obviously we should all be pretty aware, but if you're not aware, the Wizards, picked up Trae Young. Well, traded for Trae Young, picked up Anthony Davis. Have the same starting core, have a couple of nice young pieces, young talented players on the roster. And with the number one pick, I mean, there was only one real answer to be. You feel me? Gots to be AJ. So, love the pick for them. Next, moving on to the Jazz. Same thing as the Wizards. Got a buku amount of nice young players, rookies and sophomores. And, with certain key vets like Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler, I believe. And with the second pick, if AJ was took, or if AJ didn't get taken, there was only one other pick, and that's DP. So another great pick for them that I can't even complain about. And then for the Grizzlies, Memphis. You know what I'm saying? They got one of my favorite prospects coming out of this year's draft in Cameron Boozer. So definitely no complaints there. And same thing a little bit. I like personally like the other two's young core a little bit better than the Memphis Grizzlies, but with the draft and like some of the picks that they picked up, I definitely feel better about it now. And also the offseason isn't done, so there's more additions to be added on to that roster. So again, not mad at the big three, or not the big three, at the top three. I feel like the top three, you couldn't really mess up no matter where you went, unless it was just a unreasonable nonsense pick. Then top three, without that out the way, the first team I want to talk about is the Los Angeles Lakers, man. I feel like the Lakers have one of the biggest steals in this year's draft, being selecting Cameron Carr at, I believe it was pick 24. I think they traded up with the Knicks to select Cameron Carr. Definitely love Cameron Carr. One of my favorite prospects. I really believe in his upside and the player that he could end up being. I feel like he pairs well with Luka. Also can help Luka out on the defensive side. And even in his interview, he stated that he's looking to bring defense. That was one of the very first things that he said, was he's coming to bring defense and to bring shooting. So those are things that you love to hear, especially for coming from a young rookie going into a team like the Los Angeles Lakers, who desperately need both defense and shooting. So you just love it. You just gotta love the IQ and awareness of a rookie at that coming into the league. There's not really much you can complain about there. So that's for the Lakers. For the Bucks, now the Bucks, I feel like the Bucks are winners in this year's draft for two specific reasons. For first reason being, both players they selected I do like, and I do see upside, and there is potential in them. And now depending on the Buck to get it out of them is a whole different topic in itself. But as far as just the players, talking strictly about the players, yes, I do feel like the Bucks made two great selections, with the first one being Brandon Berries, and the next one being Nate Ament. Brandon Berries, they got a nice bigger guard that can pair with Ryan Rollins. Brandon isn't a bad player. I definitely like his game. It could use some improvement in certain aspects in certain areas, but I mean, we are talking about rookies here, so that you gotta teeter your expectations. But so far, looking over some film that he has, definitely a solid pick here. I can see why he is a lottery pick. Definitely has the talent, and there's definitely upside and potential there. But Nate Ament is really the one for me that I don't want to say it made this better, but I feel like, especially after trading Giannis, I feel like Nate Ament can come in here and really, especially if they develop him in a similar way, or if he just gets the same type of development and just care and treatment that, Giannis got when he came into the league, Nate can be something really, really special. He has a keen defensive IQ. He can play that side of the ball extremely well. I feel like sometimes he does have careless moments, but again, if he cleans that up, I mean, we're talking about a defensive anchor potentially. So definitely like it, and especially if he can build his offense with having that elite to great defense. I mean, bro, again, what else can you say here? So, I mean, I love the two picks. But not only that, though, it was also the amount of players they were able to get in the Giannis trade with also the draft capital. Like the Bucks, I feel like couldn't really go wrong here. Again, unless it was just a absurd random ass pick. The Bucks couldn't really go wrong here. The next pick, man, or the next team that I want to talk about, gots to be the OKC. Why? Why? Yeah, OKC, man. OKC's another winner. Simply because they added a 7'3" center next to Chet Holmgren. And they just re-signed Isaiah Hartenstein. But yeah, man, I mean, other than that, though, they also were able to pick up Bennett Skirts. Might be messing up his name. I'm sorry, Bennett. Don't chop me. But yeah, they were able to pick up another big. They were able to grab a great playmaker in Bennett. And they still have draft cap at all. I mean, bro, Sam Presti is on his Howie Roseman run. Like, this is crazy. The thing that blows my mind to the next level is the fact that the league and other teams and GMs keep trading with the man. Do me a favor, okay? Not really close. Turn off your phone and throw it out the damn window. Because stop calling Sam. But yes, the next team I want to talk about specifically, the Bulls, man. I like the Bulls. I feel like the Bulls is underneath the radar. Also with like the Jazz, and I want to say the Hawks too. But we're gonna get to them in a minute. But back to the Bulls, the Chicago Bulls. Yeah, I love their pick. They picked up Caleb. Also picked up, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say Dylan Swaney, but I don't want to mess up his name either. So they picked up a forward who looks really promising, has really, really high upside, and I know y'all probably tired of me saying that, but I mean, this was a deep draft. Everybody knew coming into this draft, this was a deep and loaded draft, and there was a lot of good players this year, so you're going to be hearing me say that a lot. You're going to have to get used to it. I'm sorry. But yeah, back to the Bulls, man. Caleb Wilson, dog. I mean, when you look at this film, man, his film makes you just get you excited, gives you energy. Like, hell of an athlete, great at transition, can play solid to great defense, has the size or has the length, I would say, in the wingspan, and really just needs to touch on his offensive bag. I will say though, he has one hell of a mid range. That's one thing I can't critique. He has his mid-range spots and shots down. When it comes to like other parts of his game, his dribbling, or his ball handling, his playmaking, his shooting, like they could be a little bit better. He could definitely improve on those aspects. So I mean, I would love for him to improve and make those key parts of his offense. But I mean, even if he can't, I mean, you're still getting one hell of a role player here. Like, I mean, Caleb's athleticism, there's definitely a certain floor. I don't really want to put a name with it, but I mean, there's definitely a certain floor. I feel like he'll definitely be a great role player. If I had to put a name on it, I would say like a skinnier Aaron Gordon, if that makes sense. Again, I love what they did picking Caleb here at 4, and then they picked up Dylan, like I said, a guard, which it is the Bulls, and they do have a nice handful of guards, but it's always good to bring in a new face and just some new potential, some new talent. I really can't be mad, and even his film doesn't look bad at all. Again, he's a rookie, so there's going to be certain parts of his game that he can improve on. But just as far as like the overall talent that they're getting, not a walk on, but like that they're adding onto the team, can't complain. And then the next and last team I had for winners of this year's draft is the Hawks. Now, I'm not as big on Kingston Flemings as other people, I feel like the guard that the 76ers pick, Fallon Jr. I feel like he's a better one. Darius Acuff, and I think I might, and like obviously DP, but I do see the ceiling. I do see the potential that others see in Fleming. Now is he gonna get there? Who knows? You know, that's yet to be seen. But I do like the team. If there was any team, this would be one of the teams. Atlanta, they still have most of the same team as last year, which is, they got length, size, and they're also really extremely young. So they have a nice core for Flemings to kind of come in and operate and develop in. And they also picked up center, if I'm not mistaken, or they picked probably a forward, most likely be playing the forward. They picked up if I'm not, I don't want another name, Zuby. Hold on, Zuby Edgefor. Yeah, they picked up him, one of the better forwards in this class. So they had two solid picks that eventually and hopefully will help them get over that next tier and really be competitive. As we saw, they stole 2 games from the NBA champions, man. So again, they can't be too far away. They just need a little more. And if Fleming can develop into that number one, that playmaker, that lead guard, then this would be a hell of a pick and a hell of a turnaround for him. So again, if I had to say, those are my winners. Now let's get into the losers. Starting off with the Nuggets, Trailblazers, Magic, and Pelicans. Those are my 4 losers of this year's NBA draft. Let's start off with some easy. Trailblazers. They didn't make no selections this year. Not first round, not second round, none at all. Didn't even show up to school. Fucking league sources would say. Yeah, definitely a bummer. I feel like Portland could have used maybe 3 or 4. They got the guard. They got a couple good bigs potentially. I feel like they could have definitely used maybe another young guard to bring in, or another forward, just so they could fill out the roster a little bit better. It's just sad. But other than that, though, next I had the Nuggets. The Nuggets only had, I think, 1 selection, and that's like that. I think it was Trevor in the second round. But Nuggets is another team that I feel like could have definitely used some young talent from this draft, especially with their situation and how they performed in the playoffs. It would definitely benefit Jokic if they was able to grab at least some type of young talent, even if it was a project, so they could process, so they could develop, build them up, give Jokic some more help. But after that, I would say the Magic. Magic was another team that I just feel like didn't optimize the draft like they should, especially given their playoff performance this year. I feel like they could have got something. They drafted Zai Nelson in the second round with the 51st pick. He's an alright big man, nothing too flashy, but they could definitely use more shooting. I think that's what Orlando's main problem was their shooting and how inconsistent it was. So if I was Orlando, I would have definitely went for more shooting / defense, or maybe even a playmaker, another playmaker. With Suggs dealing in his injury history. And then for the Pelicans, I mean, I don't even know where to start with the Pelicans. They drafted Jaron Pierce Jr. with the 58th overall pick in the second round, but last year, the Pelicans traded away their pick for to go get Derek Queen, and I like Derek Queen. I can see the upside and the potential in Derek Queen, but I feel like he would have fell to them last year. So kind of trading for him was kind of unnecessary, which gave the Hawks their pick, which only really helped them out because the Pelicans were ass this year. So, and I don't really feel like I don't see the value in this pick. It just seems like they put all their chips into Derek, and so far hasn't really panned out in their favor. But you win some, you lose some. So, and then I feel like for like everybody else, just to name off a couple teams, like the Bucks, I feel like the Bucks did good picking up Braden Berries and Nate Ament. Minnesota, with Isaiah Evans and Trey Kaufman run. Knicks. They did fine. I was cool with their picks. I like the Phillies pick in the first round, and that was the only real selection. But they picked up Fallon. I even like the Phoenix Suns. They selected Cole Pete with the first round. I think it was the last pick of the first round, and I understand where media members and some league scholars believe that he should have stayed in college just so that he gotten more development before coming to the league. But I mean, if you have a 6'8" forward, if you got a 6'8" forward like Cole Pete with the defensive versatility that he has, and if you, especially, with the players that they have on the Suns, like a Jalen Green, a Devin Booker, like I feel like you could develop him into something real nice. Like, and he's super young. Again, he just declared for the draft after his freshman season at Arizona, so it's definitely upside. And he's a project, but I feel like he's a better project than most. Let me say that. I feel like he's a better project than most. I've seen a couple of his tapes and his highlights. Definitely something there that they could build and work on. So yeah, other than the four losers I named, the Nuggets, Trailblazers, Orlando, and Pelicans, I feel like everybody else, all the other teams selected decent to good, you feel me? But if I had to just pick out my four losers of this year's draft, those would be my four. I'm just excited, man. I'm excited for this up and coming year. It's going to be a hell of a season. So much has happened during the NBA offseason. Definitely will make an offseason video covering all the moves, how teams are looking now, who went where, and guys, stay tuned, man. More videos being made. I'm definitely in the process of fixing and correcting certain things just so I can have a better workflow. But without further ado, that's going to be the video. Again, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to see you next time. Peace.